want to thank everyone from joining wherever you are in the world, wherever you are in the United States, wherever you are. Let's see, I'm trying to recognize some of the locations. It looks like we might have an international crew already. Want to thank everyone for joining this webinar here. It's something that we wanted to record for customers who are leveraging Baton and those who are not leveraging Baton as well, to introduce some of the most critical pain points that you'll run into. And we'll showcase today how to solve them. I'm TJ Ruff. I run sales at ClientSuccess. I'm thrilled to see everyone here. I will simply host and act as our MC. And then I'm going to turn the time over to Shaden here, our go-to-market specialist for Baton and really our onboarding expert.
Guys, so excited to be here and talk about onboarding today. This topic excites me and ready to just dive in. And today, obviously, we're talking about the top three pain points in customer onboarding and specifically how Baton solves them. We'll also cover some quick context into like if you're not currently using Baton, we'll still giving you some best practices. But today, the goal is not to just give you a feature show of Baton, but really it should be a session of how to solve the pain. So I'm going to show you again best practices on how Baton fixes it, and as well just how to increase this and fix these issues in any PM tool generally. When it comes to who this is for, it really comes down to if you're impacted at all by customer onboarding is going smoothly or not going smoothly, this is for you. And what you should be leaving with is a playbook for these top three pain points, what good should look like with or without Baton, as well as some checklists that can apply today. Covering the quick agenda, those three pain points that we're going to be covering today is number one, slip timelines. Number two, the constant chase of customers. Hey, we need this, we need that. And number three, status updates that just eat your time and your week. And then we'll wrap it up by just the common pitfalls to avoid. And again, comments and Q&A, drop it in the chat throughout this the time that we have together today. And we'll leave some time at the end to cover those questions. And TJ will be monitoring that. But let's just get right into things. So pain point number one, slip timelines. Some of the most common things you'll see here, and I'm sure you're familiar with it, of the questions of, hey, are we still launching this month from the customer, or your dates are moving and then they move again, last minute surprise go lives, you're just trying to get things through, right? So why timeline slip though is the big question of that we're going to be covering today, and then the how we fix it. So pretty clearly stated here, when it comes to why, it's people don't know who's supposed to do what and when. It's unclear ownership. The tasks just don't have clear details of what's going on, which then leads to there's no urgency behind any of it for people to even know, again, what happens if I don't do this. Then getting into like dependency blind spots and late discovery of risk, where it happens after the fact. Let's be proactive about things. So getting into Baton, I'm going to jump right into the product here and show you exactly how we cover these things. And it starts with a client-facing plan, right? Again, it goes to the visibility. We need to make sure that our customers have full visibility into their plan and know exactly whose turn it is to work, when it's due by, when they need to be doing their work, and then also see what happens if they don't. So what you're seeing right now in Baton is a clear customer dashboard, and this can be your view as well as the customer view that would look the same. You push the client view, and it just simplifies everything. It's not this big old list of tasks to start with. It's a, guys, welcome to your onboarding with us. Here's what we're going to go through on a timeline, our milestones represented by diamonds, and then clear actionable insight of, hey, we were supposed to go live on the 26th, but because we missed some dates here, we're actually projected to go live now on October 3rd. So we're a few weeks behind here. Like, we got to make up some time. Make that visible to the customer. The other piece, again, is the assignments. Let's actually, like, gone are the days of traditional project management where it's an internal only task, customers have nothing to do with it, and it just is pinging you to go tell the customer to do something or constantly nudging them. Where with smart assignments and true due dates and a clear path to, hey, this is exactly what you need to do. This is assigned to the customer. They get full insight into all of this. And it tells them exactly what they need to do and when they need to do it and any dependent tasks upon it. So it's clear visibility that gives a specific plan to explicit owners with durations and dependencies visible to everyone. And then beyond that, you get into the timeline view and you can clearly see dependent tasks, and you can mark this on a call with a customer and highlight dependent tasks and say, hey, if you want to throw off our timeline, don't do this task on time, right? Like, we can't move forward with this crucial task down here if you don't do this one up here, kind of deal, right? So that's the idea of just really auto surfacing that critical path so that things don't drift and you can spot the risk before it becomes that day of, oh crap, we just missed a huge deadline here. So again, that's the idea when it comes to those slip timelines. Let's give the explicit guidance, the dependencies, the critical path, auto reminders and escalations, and we can get we'll touch on the reminders here in a second. But again, when it comes to those best practices, if you're not in Baton, do the same type of thing and try to recreate that same vision in your PM tool or spreadsheets. It's obviously better than nothing. And start from a template with true dependencies, assign internal and customer owners from day one. Make sure that it's clear. And then another best practice that can be accomplished within Baton or just a third party, use forms. Some type of forms tool. Baton has it in-house, a native forms tool to collect those project and data inputs right up front. The branding, data, SSO, whatever type of information you need for your implementations to prevent any midstream stalls. Now,
Shade,
yeah.
a quick question, one that we see very often in conversations. How much should I mark a dependency? Because what you just talked about, hey, I want every task to be burning, right? Should I mark everything as a dependency?
Good question, TJ. The typical best practice is not everything needs to be dependent, but from like the idea there is to say we need to make sure that at least, the very least, the most important tasks have dependencies, and beyond that, we typically see anywhere from like 60 to 70% of the total project having some sort of dependency task or prerequisite tasks on it. But definitely wouldn't recommend every task having a dependent task.
Yeah, I guess if they're all dependent, none of them are, huh?
Yeah.
Another best practice we've seen for those who are existing customers using Baton or have something with dependency functionality, anytime you bring in that one random person on the side who has like one role in the project, maybe it's someone from finance who has to approve something, that's also really helpful to use dependencies as well, because there's just a little bit more of a focus, a shining the light on this particular task for many to see that can help get it done. So absolutely that critical path. And then if there is that third party person who has one or two tasks, customers, key contacts boss needs to approve something, those are great ideas for dependencies as well.
Yeah. Thanks, TJ. Love that question. Again, moving on just real quick here onto it as we get through this. Pain point number 2 is that constant chase. You're all familiar with this one. We've all felt this one and if you deal with customers in any standpoint, you're familiar with chasing. But let's automate this and let's get it done, because right now, some of the biggest things causing the chase is either one, you only have one high friction path, whether it's hey, we're forcing you to log into this thing, or hey, we like only have emails and it's the only way to communicate with us, or you only get things done and see success on a call, like when you finally get them on a call, right? And it's just soft reminders. I don't know what's mine. There's no escalation. So that's the idea that are causing this constant chase. Then we are fixing behavior by fixing the environment of clarity, right? And don't get us wrong, we love our portal. Our portal is our source of truth. So this thing here, I'm not saying like, hey, X out all portals. We love ours, but some stakeholders are just drive-bys. And if the only path is to log in and go hunt for the task that you need to do, you create friction, which then creates a chase, right? So the fix isn't less portal, it's more options. A portal for depth and an inbox for speed, right? So the reminders that are specific and actionable. So showing you what this looks like in action, the first thing that we get into when it comes to Baton, when you're setting up your projects and your templates, again, we're going to assign what goes to the customer and what stays internal for us, and then full visibility and beyond that. Now it's cool. As soon as it's my turn to work, and if I'm a customer, what I will get is a notification in my email inbox that'll look exactly like this with that custom description that we marked out in the template level. And it'll say, here's everything you need to know to complete your task. Now push a button. Again, take them to the portal if they want to go. If they want depth, they push a magic link, takes them in, they can see full clarity. If they don't, and they want to just we want to meet them where they're at in their email inbox, they push a button, whether they're working on it, stuck, or complete. So we give them a clear home base with the portal, but we're meeting them where they're at in their email inbox. So our portal is really the hub, and it's a single link that's branded, it's always current, but obviously real life is messy. So some stakeholders just live in their inbox, and we need to embrace both the portal as well as the plan with the inbox that removes the excuse of, oh, I didn't want to log in, right? So what we've seen with this is that teams that are pairing both the portal and the inbox actions see a higher completion with a extremely lower and fewer, hey, can you resend the link types of emails? And again, the chase. So this isn't anti-portal, it's pro-adoption. Give power users the depth that they need in a portal, and the low drive-by users a low friction way to do the right thing, right? So back to this, right? We're giving those auto nudges. We're giving clear context into everything. You can see back here, there's a lot of different notifications that you'll have control with in Baton. When again, whether it's going to the customer or it stays internal, automate all of that so you're no longer the bad guy. Baton reaches out to all of them for you with clear, it's your turn to work, and if you don't, here's what's happening, here's updates on the whole project, and giving all of that, right? And then the last piece here that kind of takes us into the next side of things is going to be, we need to escalate things politely, right? As TJ calls it, it's the professionally throwing someone under the bus, right? So when it comes to best practices with or without Baton to avoid the chase, right? Default reminders on. Don't be afraid to have too many reminders and emails going out early on. You can always scale back, but always keep them on. Summarize your impact, and again, escalate politely, which leads us to the third and final pain point that we're going to discuss today on status updates. They eat up time. We need an easy way to do it. Your data currently, in most cases, if you're not on Baton, most of the time your data just lives everywhere. So Friday afternoons turn into a copy and paste marathon, and then you're building out different decks for different people and different views and stakeholders versus project managers. Becomes heavy. There's no on-demand report for it, and no risk or owner context. So that's really the why behind all of this. So what Baton does, and this is one of the best things about Baton, in my opinion, is we're going to turn this into a, hey, let's create a status report to let's curate a status report. So if we go back to this project view where you have all of this juicy, important information on the project, we have a one-click button. It's highlighted nice and orange for you that takes all of that information and summarizes it in an email. So again, it's It's live data that you don't have to go build a spreadsheet. You can then curate this message to whichever type of individual you're going to be sending this out to, whether it's executive team or your project management team on your customer side, or frankly, your internal executive team that wants an update on an individual project. Easy. You toggle things on and off of what pieces of the puzzle you actually want to be seen in this. This side of the of what you're seeing is the body of the email. So it's a clear, here's what's going out. This is exactly what will show up in your customer's email inbox. And then again, curate a custom message that says whatever you needed to do from in this example, hey, we're close to hitting our deadlines here, but we have some holidays coming up. I'm afraid that we're at risk here. Can we jump on a call? Here's my meeting link, right? It shows up a clear summary with all the milestone progress of here's where things are actually at. So it's clear, visible. Or back to the professionally throwing someone under the bus, it's, hey, I'm working with Shaden over here and I can't do jack crap with him. He is not working. He's not doing his job. We are way behind on things because he's just not a good person to work with, right? Send that back up to the executive buying team. Again, you're not the bad guy. You're showing clear data of where things are at, and truly giving them the idea of this is what's going on within the project. So it's a custom. Go ahead, TJ.
That particular use case, if I could highlight that 100 times or like circle that for everyone in their minds, it's the thing that we dislike most. And it's kind of how the pain point number 2 that we talked about, chasing contacts, leads and really impacts all of these. Chasing contacts is sometimes necessary to help solve pain point 1, to get it done, to help avoid feeling like I chose project management because I'm really good at organizing and getting stuff done. And it's not always easy to get unorganized people to do their stuff. And you don't get to choose whether who you work with is an organized person. So this functionality is like the final escalation. It is my favorite feature. Shaden alluded to that earlier when it comes to ultimate accountability, to tactfully throw someone under the bus. You will have Baton, which will A, make clear who's in charge of what and when. Due dates already there, and anyone who logs into the portal can see that. So that's kind of like a level 1 escalation. Level 2 then are the email automations that Shaden discussed. Okay, maybe they're not going to log into the portal. Fine, we can kind of chase them down to wherever they work. And that's a critical philosophy of Baton, which is where you start seeing many of these principles you can adapt, right? For your own project and use cases, even if you're in spreadsheets. Some of these things you start seeing the need for a solution like Baton. But in Baton, I can not only put it in their email inbox, as we've talked about, I can have multiple notifications along the process, but this particular function that Shaden just covered is one of the most powerful things we can do. We see this coming. Baton's going to warn us they're not getting it done in time. This project is at risk. We're no longer looking like we'll be 1 or 2 days past the deadline. We're looking at like a month late. I have the ability to use that update, the status update, to give a curated plea for help. I mean, that's what it really is. So we want y'all to think about that as one of the more powerful use cases. And we only can deploy that properly if everyone is trained on this, if everyone knows about it. And we like talk about that as, hey, this is a playbook. When it's not getting done, it keeps getting late, we keep having problems. Don't hesitate to send a curated message to the exec sponsor on the other side and say, hey, we might need to look at those resources or we're going to be late. So I love that. Like Shaden said, we have the ability to tactfully throw people under the bus as kind of a final escalation level. It's very helpful to get those who just haven't quite been paying attention to get it done, or go to their boss and say, we might need other or more resources. So I love that one, Shaden.
Yeah, thanks, TJ. Yeah, so to sum that up, we're giving you one source of truth that rolls up progress, risk, and owners in seconds, not hours of manual building. So it's even to the audience specific views as well. The exec clean summary to project details, both live, always current. That again just cleans that all up and makes it extremely easy. And to kind of wrap up this whole webinar here today, some of the common pitfalls that we see constantly, this is what we do day in and day out. We're always on calls with onboarding. These 5 fixes alone change outcomes, right? So let's cut time to first value, and that overall time in onboarding by 25 to 45% with just clear work streaming and dependency driven plans, that especially when it comes to Baton, that automates a lot of this. Reduce your chasing by 30 to 60% with inbox actions and schedule escalations, reclaiming hours from status prep, right? So let's avoid these and talk through these for a little bit of just how we can avoid them. One, if you're using Baton today, don't use it like a generic PM tool. It's not built that way. We need to configure the client view first. And that's how Baton was built, with the customer in mind first. So if you're using it like you've used a Monday.com or a Trello in the past, let's avoid that. It really challenges you, and the Baton itself will push you to think of the customer first and what they need to see, because at the end of the day, we're onboarding them and we need to really keep them in mind throughout all of this. Vague tasks, we talked about that. Don't really make it clear and actionable on every task. The definition of everything, what it means to be done, all of the resources that they will need. I know I mentioned this one earlier as well. Do not mute notifications, right? You can start aggressive, is my personal opinion, and a typical best practice. Start aggressive, start heavy with notifications. You can always tune down later if you're getting any kind of feedback that, hey, well, I'm getting too many notifications and things. Again, don't have a lack of dependencies, right? If it blocks a go live, model it. Manual status decks, let's avoid all of that, right? The 3 takeaways you can take from today is that 1, clarity creates speed. 2, accountability scales capacity, right? That's a big one. We really want to make sure that you have the ability to grow as a team, and not necessarily add headcount, right? Automation does all the chasing, so we're pushing the accountability and it scales your capacity. And finally, the 3rd one, on-demand visibility will win your trust, will win trust from your customers, right? And before we get to the Q&A, just want to throw out one final plug for those that are not currently on Baton and you see interest here. If you want to get up and running in your world with Baton, we're offering an August promotion. I know there's only a couple weeks left here in the month, but we're throwing out a 25% discount for all who add Baton to their current subscription with ClientSuccess before the month of September ends. So, or before the month of September, we're in August. So, and if you're currently a Baton user and you're looking to add to that scope, you're maybe add more licenses or things, that 25% discount also applies to that as well. So reach out to us and let us know. Again, we'd love your feedback on all of this. And at this point, we'd love to wrap it. We have 6 minutes left. Feel free to, again, use the chat and we can open it up to some Q&A.
Shaden, first question we got, our friend, our friend's existing customer, we'll keep some privacy here, asked a question about the dependency date shift functionality. Now, I answered this live in the Q&A. Oh, I guess there is no anonymous question, so we all know it's Tigran. Hi, Tigran. Thank you so much for that question. Shaden, can you talk to us about dependency date shift? When we were on the first point, we were going through and discussing, okay, how do we get this done on time? And to be fair, y'all, I think it's safe to say, no matter how much we do, we're always going to have some projects run late, no matter how great your status updates are and everything. So how does Baton handle this for us? How do we make it go faster? This is what the dependency date shift function is.
Yeah, so our dependency date shift is incredibly powerful, and you get actually a bit of control beyond just saying, yes, I want it to shift or not. And what the general idea of a date shift is saying that if task A is here and task B is dependent on task A, and it needs to have a 5-day lead on it or lag on it, right? Is the idea of common PM tool language that they use, but we need a 5-day buffer in between task A and task B, no matter what. When task A gets completed, we can then have that date shift on there to say that there's always that 5-day buffer between those tasks. No matter if parent task is completed early or late, or if you just need to move the task in general. If you move task A, task B will automatically shift with it. And then you have the control beyond that to say I'm shifting both start and due date, or you only shift the due date. You want to keep the start date, right? You have the control over all of it, but it's incredibly powerful function to make sure that, yeah, those dependencies that you have set up that are crucial to timelines and critical path have automated shifting when the project does go awry, because it always does.
Perfect. And another thing to note, I answered this in the Q&A part live. You can specify again at the template level. Remember, you can say, here's my default, but maybe for a particular customer, and this is a unique use case I heard a few months back. For a particular customer, we cannot change the due date. Like maybe it's related to payroll. We have to make payroll, and the product helps me make get payment out. So I can't miss it. So you could actually turn dependency date shift off for a particular live project and have it on by default, or vice versa. We allow that level of specificity and power. Another question I haven't had a chance to type and answer, Shaden, forgive me, asking about sharing tasks with a customer. Can a customer just change the due dates for everything? I'm imagining, let's say I'm the project manager on the other side. I decided to take a week off in Hawaii, and unbeknownst to you, I'm going to change everything and say, hey, we're on time still, and I don't want to get in trouble by my boss or that person's boss. What's the deal there?
Yeah, I love that use case. And Baton will default to absolutely not. And typical best practice is don't let the customer have control over any of that. So the default will be to they will get assigned tasks. The client will have the ability to reassign tasks to their internal users. And they can complete it or mark stuck, right? That's the default level of usage that the customer will have. But in the back end, and this again can be per project, you can toggle this on and allow them to create, edit, and delete. So we do recognize that there's some use cases where it is helpful to give your clients that level of power, but the default will be that we do not let them, and you will have to go in and change that if necessary.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, with time going, actually, those are the last open questions we have. I just have to thank everyone for joining. We've had a great group from many different locations, and we thank you. For some of you, it's not exactly lunchtime, and that's meaningful to us that you joined. We can't thank you enough. And like Shaden said, if you don't have Baton and would like to look at it, let us know. We'll be in your inbox with this recording within a day or so. Ask us any questions you have if you're not using it. If you are using it, ask us any questions. And of course, don't forget that promotion. If it's time to grow, either add Baton for the first time or add more licenses, 25% off until the end of August. So thank you everyone for your time. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Shaden. Everyone take care. Have a wonderful rest of your days.
Thanks all.